pictures. It's the first time we have seen the person that we believe to be the man who was responsible for yesterday's awful events. Allegedly, these pictures show him being driven out of 313 Spencer Street Police Headquarters. This is presumably after he has faced that formal interview with homicide detectives. He is leaving police headquarters, presumably on his way to court, given the
The
time
mother
of
of the
day.
man accused of mowing down 18 pedestrians outside Melbourne's Flinders Street station has violently lashed out at reporters as she arrived at court for her son's charges. Afghan refugee Saeed Nouri appeared at the Melbourne Magistrates Court on Saturday and was charged with 18 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of conduct endangering life after crashing his white Suzuki Victoria into crowds of people on Thursday. Footage of his distressed mother shows the woman swinging her handbag angrily at journalists outside court as she arrived to support her son on the dock. The 32-year-old's mother kept her face hidden under a hijab as she swung wildly at onlookers and yelled out incoherently. Emotional scenes played out in the courtroom as the woman sobbed and rocked back and forth as the charges laid against her son were read out, the Herald-Sun reports. She attempted to reach out to the accused and took photographs on her mobile phone before being assisted back to her seat and instructed to turn off the device. Nouri covered his face with his hand and looked down for the hearing, as prosecutors read details of the incident, indicated more charges are being considered and said the motive remained under investigation. When asked if there were any custody management issues, Nouri's defense lawyer said, "Yes, Your Honor, first and foremost mental health." He also said the accused man had physical health issues. Magistrate Bob Kumar remanded Nouri in custody to face a filing hearing on Wednesday. He also ordered that Nouri be seen by a nurse for physical and psychiatric issues. At the end of the hearing, Nouri uttered a quiet, "Thank you," before being led from the dock into custody. 12 people injured in Thursday's car attack remain in hospital, with 3 people fighting for their lives, Premier Daniel Andrews said on Saturday. Assistant Commissioner Stephen Lynn said investigators had asked advice from the Victorian Director of Public Prosecutions on the charges. "I've got a firm belief that what he, allegedly, did on Thursday night was a deliberate act," he told reporters on earlier Saturday. "The motivations for that act, we'll work through." He made utterances to police about voices, dreams and the poor treatment of Muslims to officers in hospital on Thursday night, and later made comments about Australia's top security body in Allah. Acting Chief Commissioner Shane Patton said Saeed Nouri made comments while at St Vincent's under police guard, only hours after the horrific rampage on Thursday afternoon. "I don't know the exact detail, to do with Allah and some ramblings about ASIO, the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation," Mr Patton said. According to the Herald-Sun, Mr Patton told the project Nouri made utterances about voices, dreams and about why he drove the Suzuki SUV through the busy crowds. Others are about that he did this act because of perceived harms committed on Muslims around the world, he said. "There's a range of issues there." After treatment, Nouri was transferred from hospital to a holding centre to be interrogated by police. The 32-year-old tried to hide his face with his cuffed hands while sitting between 2 detectives as he left Melbourne Police Station heading for the custody centre below the Magistrates Court. The Afghan immigrant spent the previous 24 hours under police guard in hospital after crashing the white Suzuki Victoria into a tram stop bollard at the corner of Flinders and Elizabeth Streets. Detectives were initially unable to interview him due to his injuries from the crash and a struggle with an off-duty police sergeant who heroically wrestled him from the car before other officers arrested him. Mr Patton said there were no signs in Nouri's online activity that he planned the attack in advance, and that counter-terrorism specialists did not believe it was a terrorist attack. "We haven't excluded him being motivated by terrorism. We haven't seen any warning signs that there was any threat to violence," he said. He said Nouri had a history of drug use and mental illness, stressing that investigators had not yet found any extremist or terrorist links to the horror rampage. Investigators were still searching for a motive for Nouri's alleged evil act, and it was hoped the formal interview would shed some light on them. Police said it did not appear to be a terrorist attack but raided 2 homes in Heidelberg West, where Nouri lives, and Oak Park in Melbourne's north on Thursday night, hours after the terrifying incident. The family members present were reportedly cooperatives as forensics teams seized electronic items from the homes that police will comb through for clues about Nouri's motives. At this stage, nothing has been found to indicate a linkage to extremism, a terrorist organization or anything of a terrorist nature. police told Daily Mail Australia on Friday. Nori arrived in Australia as a refugee in 2004 through a resettlement program, and had several run-ins with the law between 2008 and earlier this year. He came to Australia as a refugee. He did not come with a people smuggler. He came through the appropriate refugee, the normal refugee programs, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull said. At this stage, because investigations are continuing, apart from that statement, there are no known links to any political issues or certainly any links to extremist groups. Therefore, the position I am advised of at the moment is that no terrorism link has been identified at this stage. I want to stress, there is a mass of material that is being investigated and nothing should be ruled out. Nothing should be ruled out. Now, whatever the motivation, this was a despicable and cowardly act. But I want to reassure all Australians that this is an isolated incident. Nori's legal issues started with a minor assault charge in 2010 that was dropped after he pleaded guilty to recklessly causing injury and was fined $800. Then in June this year he was convicted and fined $1,000 after pleading guilty to driving while unlicensed, using a mobile phone while driving, and failing to answer bail. The missing bail charges was from when he missed a court date for the driving offences, which occurred either early this year or late last year, and which he also faced court for in February. 19 people were injured in the incident, including the driver and an off-duty policeman who heroic wrestled him from the car where other officers arrested him. Many more could have been injured or killed if the car hadn't crashed into a tram-stop bollard on Flinders Street and the intersection of Elizabeth Street. By midday on Saturday, 12 people were still in hospital with only 3, including an 83-year-old from Northcote and 2 South Koreans in their 60s who remain in a critical condition. 5 men, aged 25, 40, 43, 45 and 83 and 6 women, aged 25, 30, 35, 47 and 58, were among the victims and along with another 3 men and 2 women of unknown age. Many were from overseas including citizens of South Korea, China,